All right, shall we go to the internet? Okay, what do you think about President Obama's recent off-mic comments? I heard them the other day, yes, regarding the GOP's negotiating strategy. I wish he would sound like that when he was on mic. But is what I would say.
Well, his remarks, which he made many comments that he didn't think were getting picked up, are pretty much the same remarks he made in his speech that day. I mean, he's doing it in a more colloquial way, but basically what he's saying is the same fight that you guys had here, which is, one, don't tell me, Republicans, that after voting for huge deficits and the war and tax cuts, that you're going to school me on deficit spending, right? Which is what he said, so stop that. And number two, I don't fold as easily as people think he did. And when that CBO number came out the other day that said, well, actually, remember that the number was really only 353 million, not 38 billion, now looks who got the better deal.
Right.
So I think for the liberal base and even for others, he looks like this is a guy who's...
I wonder if he knows that he's really on and it's going to get picked up. You think there might be some of that in it?
It is. The campaign has begun, after all.
That's true, and he has announced last week.
He has announced,
he's officially a candidate.
Fully on.
But remember, the other time he got caught on tape. I don't think he wanted that to happen when he said
the guns and
that people cling to their guns and Bibles. And by the way, he was way off on that.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Some of us cling to our Qurans and our Bibles.
Right.
Come on, America.
John asks, is a fine a reasonable penalty for someone like Kobe Bryant says fag? When you want to cut off his finger? I mean, $100,000. That's a pretty stiff fine for saying one inappropriate word.
Yeah, but again, it's freedom of speech. You can say these things, but
you can. But the question is,
but to fine $100,000,
should he be doing something more proactive? Right? You go and, if you're forced to do community service in some way, shape, or form. So why not do something more like that?
Service.
NBA is trying to be in the image business a little bit here. To let it go would be condoning it. They've got some social standards that they want their players to uphold to.
Well, he has to do something about, not community service like picking up garbage, but community service like going and saying it's a bad thing to say that about people.
It beats the hell out of being on trial. Can we just say that about Kobe?
No, the NBA could lose both its gay fans. No, it's not a word. I agree, but I don't know. And also, why did he buy his wife a ring? Just out of habit, I guess. Whenever he fucks up, he buys his wife a ring. Okay. Will any of you be going to see the Ayn Rand Atlas Shrugged movie? No. I couldn't get. I mean, I couldn't get through the book. Although
the book was.
Yeah, I quoted some Alan Greenspan talking about Paul Ryan, big Ayn Rand fan.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
And huge, yeah.
Kind of doesn't match up with the Catholic faith, though, does it?
Well, Ayn Rand was an atheist.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ed, it's all in the interpretation.
Well, what is his interpretation? That is, being on paper, it's pretty extreme.
I have never been able to get through Ayn Rand. I've tried, and there are people, and some intelligent people, who are big fans of Ayn Rand. But they made a great movie about Ayn Rand like 10, 15 years ago with Helen Mirren playing Ayn Rand, and I think it was Eric Stoltz playing the acolyte who falls in love, and Peter Fonda is her husband. And at the end, he has a great line. He says, I never knew what any of it was about. And I think, for a lot of people, that's what it is. Would you be in favor of removing the cap on Social Security contributions in order to make it more solvent? Yep.
Removing the cap to what? To just unlimited? I mean, take the cap off?
Just take the cap off?
Well, Medicare contributions are unlimited. True. I found that out when I went to my accountant this year. I was like, wow, what's all this money going to? I said, well, that's Medicare. It's like whatever you make, it's like 1.5%.
Yeah, Social Security stops at a certain point. Yeah, Medicare continues.
Right. Right. If you make $10 billion, you pay 1.5%. I mean, I'm sure they'll find ways out of it. I saw it in the paper today. The richest 400 people in this country paid 16.6% federal taxes. The average American, 22.5. Yeah. There's something
Republicans like it.
There's something very wrong.
But you know, the other interesting that David Laneharter, who writes for the New York Times, had a great number about this too. Though the amount of money that people put into Medicare, right, through their taxes, is twice. It's a lot smaller than what they're going to get out of it, right? So if the average person puts $150,000 in over the course of their working life, they get $340,000 worth of health care. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So the Social Security has to be tough.
Okay. E. Kasai says, what do you think about the Donald and his words about his relationship with the blacks? Michael, you're one of the blacks.
Yeah.
Does that offend you at all?
I thought about it.
Represent, brother, represent.
I could just... The only thing I can say is I'm just glad to be with the whites. So...
Wait, chop liver!
Yeah, right. That's right.
It's one of those nonsense.
Right, we got the Browns,
we got the Browns, we got the Asians.
You got the yellows, you know? What a great
veritable
country.
Benetton ad of a show.
It's an anachronistic, it's an asinine, but an anachronistic.
Right, it's really grandpa stuff.
It's like, really out of context.
It's like when, just so it can be bipartisan, it's sort of like when Joe Biden had that horrible comment about Obama, that he's articulate and clean.
The stereotype.
Yeah.
And
it's just what grandpa says, the blacks. You know?
Blacks,
I have a great relationship with the blacks.
It's gigantically stupid. And this guy wants to be president, and that's his racial sensitivity. I mean, here's Joe Johnson over here, here's Charlie Smith over here, but because they're black, he's going to judge them the same. The broad brushing is very dangerous. And,
it is,
and he's got to get out of this.
Well, first of all, I don't think he's going to get out of it. He's leading.
Yeah.
You know. But he also, this week, I saw, is trying to curry favor with religious people. Now, Donald Trump does not seem to me like the kind of guy who goes to church, but he said, I'm a Sunday churchgoer.
Well, he said he tries to go
one
at
Sunday
Christmas
he went
and
to
Easter.
church.
My love for Jesus is huge. Huge. I am the best at worshiping God. I am the best of anybody. Gotta go? All right. Thank you, panel. We're out of time. Thank you, audience.